Nicholas, it's me, Liana. Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you for ages. What's going on with you? When are you going to see me and my dad? It feels like forever. Dad misses you so much, Nicholas. He really needs you.
Give me a break, Leanna. Tell me the reason why I have to see you and Dad, huh? And why do I have to be the one who takes care of him? That's your job, not mine.
What are you talking about, Nicholas? Who said anything about taking care of him? I never asked you to do that, did I? All I want is for you to visit us, to spend some time with us, especially with Dad. He's not doing well, Nicholas. Can't you at least call him? He would be so happy to hear your voice. He's been suffering so much.
Fine. Tell me when you're out of the house and I'll drop by. I don't see why he's so eager to see me. It's not like he's dying or anything.
How dare you, Nicholas? How can you be so cold and heartless? I can't stand this from you. How can you disrespect our father like that? We're his only children, and you act like you don't give a damn about him. You're so cruel.
Oh, cry me a river, Leanna. Always have to make me look bad, don't you? You always have. It's been 10 years, hasn't it? 10 years of him lying in bed wasting away. I've been waiting for him to die for so long. I've been waiting for my inheritance, and I still don't see a dime of it. I never thought he would last this long. I'm sick of waiting, you know?
Oh, Nicholas, you're a monster. How can you say such awful things? He's our father, for God's sake. You should show him some respect. This is the worst thing I've ever heard from you. I'm disgusted by you.
I don't care what you think, Liana. I'm just telling it like it is. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being honest with my family? I'm just saying that this has been overdue, and I'm still waiting for my payday.
You're unbelievable, Nicholas. You've been making me take care of our sick father for the past 10 years, and you have the nerve to say that? Our father is very ill, and this might be his last chance to see you. But you won't even grant him that. Can't you show him some compassion? He's dying, Nicholas. He's the only father we ever had.
How about you show me some compassion before you judge me? If you die soon, then I can be a landowner and be filthy rich. I'll inherit all of our father's land.
You're delusional, Nicholas. You think that's all that matters? You don't care about anyone but yourself, do you? Besides, our father hasn't made any profit from this land in years.
You're clueless, Liana. The land is worth a fortune. You just don't know it. That's why our father can afford to live like a king. He doesn't have a care in the world.
He does what he pleases? Are you kidding me, Nicholas? He'd been bedridden for 10 years. He can barely breathe. Do you really think he's enjoying his life at all?
Even if you're bedridden, you can still make money and live well. I bet he has enough cash to spare for me if he's lying in bed all day.
He's just using the money that he's earned all his life. He's not in a position to have any luxuries anymore.
That's why I'm hoping he kicks the bucket soon. There won't be any money left. If he doesn't, my inheritance will vanish if he keeps clinging on.
Why are you so obsessed with getting an inheritance when you won't even see him? You should talk to Dad about the money if you're so desperate. He probably has no clue what you're saying to me. Dad's begging you to come over. Please, just do this for him. He just wants to talk to you and see your face. He's not asking for much.
Oh, stop making such a fuss. It's so irritating. I'll go over to his place if I feel like it. No guarantees, though.
Yeah, right. I know you're lying. You're never going to show up. You're so selfish and cold. Nicholas, we really need you here. Please answer me when you get this message. Dad is really critical right now. He could die at any moment. We really need you here. I have something very important to tell you, so please hurry up and get here.
Oh, really? Oh my god, finally. Don't you think it's about time?
What? What do you mean about time? What are you talking about?
It's almost over, and I've been waiting for this for so long. I can't believe it's happening. Finally, I can move on with my life. Well, Let me know when the funeral is. I'm going to call my lawyer right now.
What the hell are you talking about? Did you not read any of my messages? You know that Dad's still alive, right? There's no funeral yet. Don't you dare do anything with your lawyer.
I did read your messages. Didn't you just say that he's critical? That means he's going to die soon, right? You've always wanted to be free from taking care of him, right? Can't we just let him go peacefully? Then it'll be over, and we can start fresh. I also want my money. I want it now.
How can you say such things to me about our father? I don't give a damn about the money. I love our dad. Just get over here now. You know you're being horrible to our father.
Our own father?
Huh? How can you be so heartless?
Look, I don't want anything to do with him anymore. I don't care what happens to him, okay? Just let me know when he's dead. You can contact me when the funeral is ready.
How can you act like this? Fine, be that way. Nicholas, you're a terrible and a heartless person. And I don't know how anyone can stand you. I'll just take care of Dad by myself and I'll be with him till the end. He deserves some love from at least one of his kids.
Hey sis, that was quite a show, wasn't it? I'm sure our father enjoyed the farewell.
How can you be so cruel all the time? I'm sick of your sarcasm and your insults.
Oh, come on, Liana. Don't act like you're not relieved that he's gone. You don't have to take care of him anymore, right? You played the role of the dutiful daughter for 10 years, and now he's dead. You must feel so liberated, right?
How can you say that about our father who just died? Haven't you said enough terrible things? This is supposed to be a time of mourning, and I'm grieving for the loss of our dad, unlike a heartless person like you.
Oh, sure. You can grieve however you want. By the way, I've talked to the lawyer about what's next.
Good for you, Nicholas. I've talked to a lawyer too. Dad was concerned about what would happen to me after he passed away, so he told me to find a lawyer.
Wow, of course. You did what Daddy told you. I'm not surprised you live such a pathetic life, do you, Liana? Guess what? I'm going to inherit everything that was in our father's name. You're not getting a cent of it. You've taken care of him for so long. And what do you have to show for it? Nothing. That's what. Thanks for all your hard work in securing me the inheritance. I can't wait to have it.
What? I'm confused. What are you talking about, Nicholas? What do you mean I have nothing?
Did you really have no clue what was going to happen? Liana, wow! You are really dumb! It's such a pity that you had to find out this way. You loved our father so much for the last 10 years, but in reality, he didn't love you back. He left you nothing in the end. I was the favorite son who got everything.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. And that's not how it's going to be, Nicholas.
Your whole life has been for a worthless old rag. Loving our father got you nothing. Doesn't that suck so bad? Well, to be honest, I'm laughing my ass off about it. It's so funny, I can't stop laughing and crying at the same time.
I don't see how you can find this amusing, Nicholas. What's the old rag supposed to mean? Me cleaning up after our father. Someone had to.
Even though you loved our father so much, your efforts were all for nothing. You got nothing in return. Did you really think that if you give him your love and care that you'd get a share of my inheritance? Clearly, you didn't understand anything. You wasted your life on a man who didn't give you a penny. You could have had a family and a career in that time. Your life must be such a failure. After 10 years of loving him, you got no inheritance. So you might as well live in poverty for the rest of your life. Of course, being the older brother, I'll get all the money. But if you're bitter about it, you should blame our father for choosing me.
You know what, Nicholas? Go ahead and take the money. It's all yours. Take it and leave me alone.
I don't need to worry about you. I'm sorry, but this is how it was meant to be.
That's fine, Nicholas. I don't want any of the money from the inheritance. I don't even need it if you offered it to me.
Why are you even talking about it then? You really don't want any of the cash?
Fine, I'll keep my mouth shut. You can have the whole inheritance and do whatever you please with it. I'm sure you're very happy with yourself, Nicholas.
And don't forget the beach house by the ocean. That's mine too. I haven't been there much, but it's a valuable asset.
But it's such a rundown place. What's the use of having it, Nicholas?
Like I said before, the land is worth a fortune. You just don't get it. You're just so clueless about money and property. But I guess that's typical of my little sister. You were always a dimwit.
Well, why don't you go to the beach house and see for yourself? You should check it out with your own eyes before you make any decisions.
That's not a bad idea. I haven't been there in ages. I'll take my girlfriend with me and we can have some fun. Well, I still can't believe our father is finally dead. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm going to be rich and have so much land to play with. It's going to be awesome.
You're disgusting, Nicholas. You're the worst brother in the world and a horrible person. You have no remorse at all. Don't ever talk to me again. I'm cutting you off because I don't want someone like you in my family. I'm done with you. What the hell? How did you get my number? I thought I blocked you. Why are you bothering me?
Listen, Liana, that doesn't matter right now. You need to pick up your phone when I call. I have to talk to you. It's urgent.
I have nothing to talk to you about, Nicholas. I don't want you to contact me, but you obviously didn't get the hint.
You remember how I told you that my girlfriend and I were going to the beach house, right? The only thing that was there on the land where it was supposed to be was a decaying house. It's collapsing. Don't tell me that's the luxury beach house. It's more like a wreck than a house. It's as nasty as an old rag. This can't be true, can it?
You really have a thing for that word rag, don't you? You called me one, and now the beach house? You're hilarious, Nicholas. The wreck you saw is the beach house.
No way! That can't be it, can it? It's a piece of junk. There's nothing left of it. It's like a scene from a nightmare. Did I just pay a ton of tax to inherit this wreck? Is it even a house? It looks like it might be haunted by ghosts or something. I can't live in this dump that I inherited. This is the worst property I've ever seen.
I guess it is. Apparently the locals call it the haunted house.
Are you serious? They actually call it that. Is it really a haunted house? Has anyone seen ghosts in it?
It's such a pity because it used to be a beautiful piece of property. In the past, even when it was in that condition, it was still called a haunted house. Even if you wanted to sell it, you couldn't because no one would dare to enter it.
I can't believe this place is still standing. What is this? Some kind of prank? Did you not know how bad this place was? I heard it was a luxury beach house with all the amenities. How does it look like this?
What are you talking about, Nicholas? There's nothing wrong with it, really. It's just not a luxury beach house. It's still a decent house. It just needs some work, that's all.
Are you crazy or something? There is no way this place can be fixed. This house is not habitable, Liana. It's falling to pieces. Don't you know that I paid a lot of tax to inherit this place? I can't live in it, and I can't sell it.
But you're the one who wanted the beach house. You told me that yourself. You know, I'm glad that things turned out the way I hoped they would. I wouldn't know what to do with that house in that state. My wish came true. Why don't you just deal with it?
If I had known that the beach house was in this horrible state, I wouldn't have wanted it from the inheritance. I should have just taken the inheritance money and I would have been rich.
By the way, what money are you talking about again? I'm a bit confused by what you're saying.
What? How can you not know what I'm talking about? Liana, you're so stupid sometimes. I'm talking about the money from our father's inheritance. Since he owned a lot of land, our father's inheritance must be huge. I should have gotten that money. He should have gotten rid of this worthless piece of property when he was alive.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Nicholas. But there is no inheritance money.
What? What are you talking about? What do you mean there's no money? There has to be money. He was loaded.
Did you really not look at his accounts or see what he actually had? Nicholas, all he had was debt. What money are you talking about, Nicholas? I guess you never really cared about your inheritance. Didn't your lawyer tell you anything? I'm shocked they didn't.
What? What's there to tell? I don't get what you're saying, Liana. You're talking nonsense.
Well, since it's about you, brother, I don't think I owe you an explanation. Since you know yourself so well. You claimed that beach house before even hearing the whole story. I guess you just wanted the property for yourself and didn't bother to check anything. I guess you didn't even know what kind of inheritance you really got, brother.
So what if I didn't listen to what my lawyer was saying? They were annoying and talking too much about legal stuff. But what do you mean about Dad being in debt? I never knew anything about that. How did you?
I just didn't want to tell you, because I thought it would be too much trouble for you to deal with. You never asked about the situation, did you? I could have told you.
Enough with this crap, and just tell me what's going on here. You're really pissing me off right now. Why is the house like that?
Actually, I knew all about his debt before he died. He told me everything.
You knew? You knew all this time and never told me. How could you do this to your own brother?
How about you calm down and think clearly about this? Even though he owned land, he was bedridden for 10 years and did nothing about it. The real estate market crashed. He built the beach house himself, so it was his responsibility to maintain it. Once he was bedridden, he couldn't do that anymore. Sure, it was cleaned a few times a year. But then time passed. He got sicker and he never rented it out or sold it. That's why it's a wreck.
So that's what happens when you neglect a property for 10 years. Why didn't you tell me about the beach house?
Ever since you found out that our father needed full-time care, you've been avoiding us. I ignored it too because I didn't want to deal with that place, okay? That's why I didn't tell you about it. And you never came to visit, so we never talked about it.
I could have done something about it if you had told me what was going on with the property.
Yeah, right, I doubt that. I can't believe that my brother would care about some property that much.
But you knew it was going to be mine someday, since Dad was the one who owned the beach house. Of course, I would care about it and do something about it. You should have told me.
What's the point of talking about this now, Nicholas? Nothing's going to change. Besides, it's going to be a nightmare to keep it. The property tax is probably sky high. Everything has gone wrong. He used various services like accountants. Some properties just fail, and then the owner ends up in a lot of debt, like our father. After that, it's just a snowball effect, and the debt just gets bigger and bigger.
Are you serious? The debt is still going to pile up even though our dad is gone.
Of course, no one's trying to pay it off, so interest keeps getting put into it. You know that this inheritance was not forced upon you. We tried to call you and talk to you before Dad passed away. I got in contact with you so many times, Nicholas, but you never returned my calls or even tried to visit.
What a cruel thing to say. You're just trying to get back at me for what I said about Dad.
And so I should, because you said so many terrible things. You basically estranged yourself from us. Dad didn't want things to be like this. So I started the procedure of abandoning the inheritance so I could avoid it. I called because I wanted to explain all of this to you. Our dad just wanted us to get along and be happy. He didn't want to leave us with the debt, but it was too big to handle. You were never good at listening to other people. I wanted to explain everything properly, but you never made the effort to come over.
Well, it's because I never thought that you wanted to say something so important. I thought you were just making small talk. Why didn't you say something to me? This is your responsibility now.
It's more your own fault. Nicholas, you're being so stupid right now. You got greedy, and you just wanted to get your hands on some money.
How dare you talk to me like that? How is it not your responsibility? You didn't communicate with me properly.
Oh my god, this is getting too much. I can't deal with your crap anymore, Nicholas. Dad also gave a message to his lawyer. You were the one who decided to inherit everything without discussing with Dad first, right? He told the lawyer how disappointed in you he was. I don't even know what else to say to you anymore. This has been your own doing, Nicholas. Live with it.
How could you do this to me? How is this even possible? I never imagined something like this happening. When Dad died, I was supposed to inherit everything from our father. I'd be happy and rich. And now this is what happens when I show up to a rundown place with my long-term girlfriend. It's not fair. Do you know how embarrassed I was to see that house standing there in ruins?
I have no idea, Nicholas, but I'm sure it must have been so hard for you to handle. What's happened to you has got nothing to do with me. I don't really give a crap what happens to you anymore, Nicholas. It's only natural for me to feel like this after the way our father and I have been treated, right?
But I'm your brother, Liana. You can't just leave me to deal with this mess on my own. You also need to take responsibility for the debt in this beach house.
Like I've already said, I'm cutting ties with you. I don't want a horrible person like you being a part of my family anymore. I don't want to be involved with your life. Surely that young girlfriend of yours must have guessed what you're like by now. Right now, you're just a scumbag who's rolling in a lot of debt. You're not a part of this family anymore, Nicholas.
Okay, so you can say whatever you want, but I can't. What the heck, Liana? How can you treat me like this? Stop making fun of me.
You treated me like crap before, so why can't I do it now? Isn't it true, though? You're in so much debt now. Dad and I tried to advise you, but you chose to ignore us. You even ignored your own lawyer. How stupid is that? I was the one who didn't listen and ignored the people around me. As a result of your ignorance, you inherited all of our father's debts. And you even inherited that haunted beach house since you paid so much tax on it. It's so lame that I couldn't tell you anything.
Shut up! Liana, you're just so happy because you didn't open your big fat mouth. You got away with not having to inherit his debts.
You would have taken it all without our permission before I could tell you the truth anyway, Nicholas.
Then why didn't you just say there was absolutely no money and that Dad was in the red?
Well, it's because I never needed any money in the first place. No matter what, you wouldn't have listened to me.
That can't be true. Everyone wants money since we need it to live a nice life. Especially now that you're a middle-aged single woman. There's no way that you don't want money when you're probably so unhappy with your life.
Stop making things up. You know nothing about my life. I'm actually married to Dad's lawyer, so... No, I'm not single, Nicholas.
What? Really? Since when have you been married? I had no idea that this happened.
I wanted to get married while Dad was still alive, as it would give him a bit of peace of mind. We've been dating for a while, but then we decided to get married. But at least Dad gave me a property that's worth something.
Huh? What are you talking about? What could he have possibly given you if he was in so much debt?
He gave me an actual property, not a ruin. He renovated it at his own expense and rented it out. I'm now living there, comfortable and paying rent.
Are you kidding me? You've been hiding this the entire time. Are you for real? That property should be mine.
Why don't you renovate that ruin? You own yourself. Maybe you could make some money off of it if it looks good enough. But since you've got all that debt to pay off, maybe it might be impossible to do that. Well, I guess I should wish you luck in your ventures.
Renovate the beach house? But it's in complete ruins. You can't be serious.
I honestly don't care what you do anymore, Nicholas. You're on your own. I wonder which one of us will be living life in rags from now on. Liana finally left her brother Nicholas behind and severed all ties with him. She found a peaceful life without his constant interference. Nicholas, on the other hand, ended up living in a deserted beach house. He was drowning in debt, and his girlfriend abandoned him. The land he inherited was confiscated by a debt collector until he could find a way to pay off what he owed. But he had no hope of doing that. He was trapped in a cycle of misery. Nicholas was a greedy man who couldn't see his own mistakes. He will almost always end up in a worse situation because he's too blind to see any faults. Maybe he can learn something from his errors and be more kind to others. Maybe he can change for the better, but we all know that's unlikely.